Hello, my name is A-Bomb, and I kind of suck at Slay the Spire. I do have all characters on Ascension 10, but I still feel like I don't know how to play the game, and more so rely on luck. So this will be me trying to learn the game. Hopefully we can get better together. Starting off with the Ironclad, because I do think this is my best character. Going to try and beat Act 3 here. Looking at these starting relics, I do kind of like all of them, but let's look at the map. Specifically, I'm looking for an early shop to utilize the Golden Pearl. Noting we are on the underdocks, we're going to try and target a block-heavy approach here. You see 3 rest paths, a double rest here, shop, 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 all on the left. Definitely don't want to go against the waterfall with no shop. But now we can sort of think about, I'm probably going to do this double rest because I want to access one of these 3 shops. A triple rest is nice. That only leaves us with 1 elite fight. And this path actually does necessitate a double shop, which is something I'm not a huge fan of. It might be more apt to go this way. I think with a double rest, we can reasonably fight 2 elites. Certainly with no early shops. The Golden Pearl doesn't make a huge amount of money. The Silken Tress is okay. If we do lose our money, maybe we want to avoid the shops altogether. We do have an option for a single rest, elite, rest, elite, rest. Again, sort of a double path. No shops. That's 4 hallway fights. 3 hallway fights. 4 hallway fights. It's a similar pathing, except instead of a shop, I'm going to try it. I'm going to skip the shop. We're going to go with the Silken Tress. Hopefully we get something good in the first reward here. Starting off against the slugs. I've made this mistake many times on this early hallway fight, but I'm pretty sure the correct response is to attack the first one. We're going to go with the bash to set up vulnerable. Obviously, that is a trade-off of losing 4 damage, but we can easily make up for it in the turns to follow. And unfortunately, we only picked up a double strike package, so we're not going to be able to kill that off. I think if we strike, defend, defend, obviously we're a little frail, but I'm thinking... This is interesting. I think a double strike is really the only reasonable approach here. We're probably going to have to make another block here the next turn. We're going to draw randomly. You managed to get out. And took quite a lot of damage there. But alright. We're looking at our first pickup here, and I think the only reasonable option is Perfected Strike. I mean, obviously... Forgotten Ritual, a lot of energy. Havoc could be interesting. Perfected Strike, I mean, this is just quality. We're doing 42 damage for 2 once we upgrade that, and that's certainly going to be an upgrade target in that first sort of fight here. We'll skip the hallway fight, and I think I definitely want to go with the Fresnel Lens here. I'm not really sure when the Glow Water Potion is effective, but I do know that an early Fresnel Lens can be run defining, and I'm certainly going to pick that up. Do I need to use the attack potion? Probably not. I think I'm just going to set up a vulnerable. Hopefully we can get a Perfected Strike here. Exit this fight really easily, and look at this. I mean, we're thinking about Taunt, we're thinking about Pommel Strike. These are both great cards. I think I'm going to side with the Taunt here. It seems a little nonsensical, but it is uncommon. Chance we get more strikes later on. But generally, extending vulnerable, getting more block. It's all a good game plan. And now, with that, we're going to guarantee a vulnerable on the Perfected Strike turn. So we can just full block here. Perfected Strike should clean up just fine. Flame Barrier. You know, this is an interesting pickup because I do love Bloodletting, especially with the amount of energy that's required to play Bash, to play Perfected Strike. I think Flame Barrier really has me sold here. An upgraded Flame Barrier would be really useful. later on against this maybe second elite if we get the worms. You like the looks of that. All right, the strikes package is not going to do too much damage. I mean, we can only burst through for 3. Actually, that's a lie because we are making them vulnerable. So we have the option of either doing 9 and gaining and losing 2, or dealing nothing. So I think I'm going to deal 9. Sewer Clam is always really hard to fight. Plating is quite strong. But now we do have a guaranteed vulnerable turn with the Perfected Strike, and it should be GG for you. It's looking very, very good. These cards, I think, are all somewhat decent. Rampage, you know, it feels nice. But I think the emphasis is going to be to draw that Perfected Strike. Bully, we could lead into more vulnerable. I mean, we certainly have a decent amount of applications. Sword Boomerang, I'm not entirely sold on just yet, but I think in the name of drawing Perfected Strike more, we're going to go with that. We have an interesting proposition here. We want the common skill or the common attack. I do think I like the skill. I'm thinking we get some draw. I'm thinking we get some block. The common attacks, I mean, yes, there are a few strikes we could pick up, but generally, I think the attack potion is less useful. And I really like the look of Shrug It Off. I really like the look of Bloodletting. I think I'm going to go with the Bloodletting. I think Shrug It Off we can find eventually. We also already have a decent amount of block for deck. Here, I think there's really 3 good upgrade targets. Flame Barrier I like. Taunt I like for the vulnerable extension, but Perfected Strike, I mean, it's just so valuable. Think about fighting a Terror Eel. I really do like the Tungsten Rod there. Another good pickup there. Unfortunately, I mean, I do like upgrading the Bash. I wish we had gotten Whetstone on the Perfected Strike, but obviously it was already upgraded. Now we're looking at another elite coming up soon. I am going to have to decide which of these I'm going to target with my Perfected Strike. I mean, it seems like we're going to go for the Cultist. Or the Sea Punk with the Perfected Strike. It should not deal perfect lethal, but it'll get pretty close. I think just for now, I'm willing to take a bit of chip damage. The Tungsten Rod helps a lot with the Sea Punk. Kind of in a weird situation here. Do I take 13? I could block quite effectively. I think I actually kind of like this line here. We're going to set up the Cultist for a Strike Death next turn. And again, yeah, Flame Barrier is quite solid here. We'll take 1. But now he's set up for a Perfected Strike Death. Very happy with that, how that fight turned out. Shackling Potion is going to be great against the worms if we do fight against those. I do like a little feed action. Obviously, there's no guarantee that we hit a feed, but all right, let's go see what these elites have in store for us. Terror Eel, I do like to see, is a line where I hold on to Perfected Strike, but to what end? I mean, dealing 48 damage plus 9 gets 57. We'll get him down pretty low. Could also block. I don't think I need to block. Well, blocking. I do actually think blocking is worth it. Let's get the Perfected Strike. We're gonna have to play it quite a number of times. It's pretty easy, just play everything turn. Really no downside to playing Bloodletting there. And now we have to think about whether we want to trigger the Terror Eel. If we play this for 9, he's going to go down to 74. I think it's kind of inevitable to play it. We'll have the Vigor. We're going to get a little screamed at here. I think I'm obligated to play Feed in this instance. Obviously, we would love to be able to gain max HP, but I don't think that is assured. And with Bloodletting, we do finish this off pretty cleanly. I haven't really had to use any of these potions. Maybe Energy Potion could have been used at some point. But I think I'm going to hold on to both. I don't think the Fire Potion really does a whole lot for me. Now we're looking at a lot more interesting pickups. Shrug It Off, I like, just from the block aspect. There's also worth considering a taunt here. I mean, similar amount of block. The vulnerable extension can be quite valuable. But again, I think generally having Shrug It Off, if we combo it with something like a Headbutt later, could definitely pair well with that Perfected Strike. I'm definitely going to upgrade Flame Barrier here. I think this is going to be really handy, either against Skulking Colony or the Worms. We do have the Worms here. I'm going to be looking to be using Shackling Potion. I don't know if this turn is the turn to use it, but it's certainly going to come into play at some point. Right now, I'm staring down the barrel of 15 damage. If I choose not to block, I actually only take 10 because of the Tungsten Rod. You know, it feels a little silly not to block, but if I'm looking at 15 damage and I block for 9, then I take 6. I take 4 extra by not blocking. It's really not that much. So I think I'm gonna do something a little silly and just not block. Oh, I did block. Okay. I think this is fine either way. Now I could choose to not block. A triple strike does 13 plus 18 damage. It's 31, 23 health. So you would have to triple strike to beat this guy down. And then here I will actually only take 6 damage, which is fine. There is an argument, again, to be had about how I handle that. I'd love to feed here. I'm just not sure that there's an effective way of pulling this off. The Shrug It Off is kind of a no-brainer. And now Flame Barrier makes a good argument to be played. I think the feed will have its time in the sun. For now, we can just go for the big guy. Is it worth bloodletting here? Taking 2 damage. Doing 1 strike. I really want to greed for the feed. I think we're going to be able to pull it off. Perfected Strike into feed is perfect lethal. Heal for 3, gain 3 max HP. I love to see it. And now, Bash definitely gets played. The block definitely gets played. Should be nearing lethal here, if not with enough block. This is looking pretty solid. Again, very happy with that fight. Captain's Wheel, love to see. I kind of prefer the anchor in this game, but Captain's Wheel, I think, good timing on quite a lot of fights. Certainly not a bad thing. We have a lot of interesting pickups here. Juggernaut is interesting because I do have Fresnel Lens. So, you know, we have a decent amount of blocking cards. We could also break through, which has no synergy with self-damage because we do have the Tungsten Rod. And there's also Iron Wave, which is enchanted with Nimble. To be honest, I'm not really convinced about any of these. I think I might just skip. Again, we're going to prioritize drawing Perfected Strike. Generally going to be my strategy. Looking at 9 damage here, we could Flame Barrier and Strike. That puts the Living Fog down to 73 minus 9 is we're gonna deal 15 damage. That puts it down to 65, or we could hit him with a vulnerable block. I think doing vulnerable is quite astute. This sets us up for a pretty easy Perfected Strike kill. It's exact lethal. I don't think I need to worry about gaining max HP. The strength here, it's interesting. I don't think it's that useful, but it's definitely something you could consider. Now, Rupture is an interesting card. You know, obviously Rupture has a lot of strength in the Ironclad, but we only have 1 self-damaging card, and as far as other cards that are self-damaging, you would have to look for Hemokinesis, which is uncommon. You would have to look for, you know, if we're thinking about HP, a lot of these cards, they really only lose 1 HP. So there's Blood Wall, there's Hemokinesis, and there's Offering. So these are all, you know, rarer cards. I'm not sure Rupture makes a lot of sense here. Breakthrough again. I mean, I don't know if we're going to struggle that much with AoE in the future. Bludgeon is interesting. I think the Perfected Strike is just better. I think we can afford to just skip again. We're going to keep our deck really lean. Resting here doesn't really call to me. I think we can afford to do another defend, and I think this time I'm going to go for the taunt. Extending vulnerable is going to be key here. You know, hopefully we can find an application for that. Do I want to go with an early feed? I think I don't actually know how feed interacts with the Waterfall Giant. I'm going to assume that it does work, but I'm just going to throw feed away. No point in holding on to that. Flame Barrier, love to see it. I think this is definitely worth losing 2 HP to deal an extra 18 damage, similar to Hemokinesis. But we're playing it for free. We did get the free block this turn. We could shrug it off into Perfected Strike, but I say just play the strikes, lose the weaken, and then this turn we'll be able to taunt Perfected Strike. Lots of damage. Love to see it. Don't think the Waterfall Giant is going to be posing much of a threat to us anytime soon. Again, I think this is a full play turn. We'll shrug it off first to see what we draw. But generally, I mean, all of this is pretty solid. He is vulnerable. We're not seeing our Perfected Strike. There is a world here where I don't block, but I don't know that dealing an extra 9 damage is going to make a huge difference. I mean, we have Perfected Strike coming in for 36 soon. Puts him down to 40. I would rather just block. The explosive is getting quite strong quite quickly. And again, I think it's generally wise to do all this blocking here. Flame Barrier, I think, is a necessary play again. Although we could bash. I do like the Flame Barrier. Just preserve some HP, deal 6 damage anyway. And now we do need to try and find a kill here. We shrug it off. We could find a Perfected Strike. No reason to block here. And now we're just going to have to kill and block next turn. I think generally we draw pretty well into our block cards here. But while he does have a lot of damage incoming, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to survive the 20 block on the last turn. Took quite a lot, but doable. Now we have some rare cards on our hands. I do like Mangle. I really doubted this card at first, but it's starting to grow on me a little. It's really expensive, and we're not guaranteed any energy generation beyond this Bloodletting here. I think 1-2 punch just makes a lot of sense, though. You know, it's not guaranteed to always line up with Perfected Strike, but I think we're going down a road of big attacks, and 1-2 punch kind of just makes sense to me. All right, moving on to the Hide. I do really like Pale's Flesh. The extra energy, I'm sure, is really strong, but there is a case for really all of these cards here. You know, obviously Pale's Eye could exhaust quite a few useless cards in my hand. And even Pale's Wing, I mean, I'm not picking up so many rewards. But generally, you know, when I'm thinking about the harder fights, I'm thinking about Knowledge Demon. And we're definitely going to want that extra energy. So I'll take the Flesh, and we'll see if that ends up paying up. We do have the Captain's Wheel on our third turn. Should be a pretty power spiky turn. Now, we do have 305 gold, so I'm going to want to be looking at shops here. Did get away with not thinking about shops too much in the first act. This path on the right here is double shop with 1 elite, 1 rest, 1 elite, and 3 elites. That's a pretty tough path. We could dodge the 3 elites and choose between a rest and an elite into a shop, and then we could either go again to the shop, rest double elite, or rest elite elite. I think the middle path here gives me a lot more options. This over here, I mean, it's just a whole bunch of baloney. We'll go up on the right side there. All right, interesting little dilemma here. You know, with the tunneler, I would be inclined to insta flame barrier here, but with the way the tunneler is working, I think setting up more vulnerable is quite nice. I'll draw first just to see what happens, and then we're gonna go into the mode where we need to do a lot of damage. Do I need to play feed? I mean, not really. The big concern with this tunneler here is whether we can take down the shield next turn, and the vulnerable helps with that. But reducing his HP, you know, it could go either way. I'm gonna do it just because I'm not very optimistic about my drawing potential. But 1-2 punch perfected strike. I mean, this is just so much damage. I don't even know if it hits 4 times or 3 times. I was hoping to learn that. It seems like, you know, the feed didn't really make too much of a difference. I was going to shuffle my deck and draw back into it, but not, you know, super optimizing on drawing the feed all the time. And we're in an interesting juncture here. We have 3 premium block cards. You know, adding a 4th Shrug It Off. A 4th with Shrug It Off. It's interesting, right? Like, it gives you more block. It has the Fresnel Lens buff. But I think it just makes my deck a little too block heavy. And I ultimately want to add maybe more strikes. I'd definitely take this if it was a pommel strike. But I think, Shrug It Off, I think we have enough going on. Now, this could be really bad for me. There's a decent chance here that we do lose... oh, wait, no, we don't lose Perfected Strike. We'll lose either Taunt or Flame Barrier, which I think is fine. And now we really have just one decision to make. We could use the Energy Potion as well. It's whether I want to 1-2 punch Bash, deal Infinite Vulnerable, or Bash Strike. I think I'm going to use the Energy Potion. And I think I'm going to use it on... Yeah, well, Bash makes a lot more sense. This is just going to be a lot of damage. And a little bit of block. Maybe is not super necessary. But I get the feeling that... Can't go wrong with that. Dominate is really strong. Twin Strike I feel like is a trap here. And Dominate might be a trap as well. But I just have so much vulnerable application. You know, I have the 2 vulnerable here. I have the 3 vulnerable here. We'll probably pick something up in the future. You know, generally, I don't think you can go wrong with a little Dominate. But again, it does dilute the deck just a little bit. Flame Barrier here is the obvious pick. What to do about the Bullbugs, I'm not exactly sure. I could also, instead of blocking, I mean, blocking does a lot of damage to... It does 6 damage to the Bullbug and the Bull Nectar. But it doesn't really solve our problems. I think we might actually just want to Perfected Strike. Get that damage out now. And about how we could do this. I mean, the Shackling Potion is easy and health block. But I'm pretty sure that Bloodletting is just kind of more optimal here. Yeah, the back guy here is going to deal a whole lot of damage. I might have misconfigured my attacking order, but with the Captain's Wheel, it seems to be not an issue. Let's Shrug It Off, try and get a little more damage. We're gonna feed off of you. Gain some block here. This is looking pretty solid. The 1-2 punch is gonna be 20 and 30 damage. Oh, it is actually enough. Perfect. Alright. I think that we actually handled that pretty well. Chemokinesis, I mean, what I said about Rupture might not be accurate anymore. I do kind of like this Body Slam. I mean, we have Captain's Wheel, we have Flame Barrier. I think I'm going to take it. It's just another damage source, and a quite efficient one at that. And now we have the decision to make. Do we want to go double shop? We want to go single shop. We want to skip this elite for the rest. I think we'll go to the event here. Makes a little more sense. Ooh, zero cost card or random power. Normally I always take the zero cost card, but I'm not really sure about this on the Ironclad. I mean, you know, there's a few cards here that are obviously really good. Brand is strong, Offering is strong, Battle Trance is strong, Bloodletting is good, Primal Force is kind of whatever. But then if we just look at powers, I think I'm going to be impressed by quite a lot of these. I don't know if... Yeah, I think zero cost card, it's just more flexible. Battle Trance, love it. I love it. Alright, this is a good opportunity, again, to think about using Shrug It Off. I'm looking at an incoming 22 damage. And it's only 16 if I choose not to block, which honestly quite a lot. I think Shrug It Off makes a lot of sense. Now we're really looking at a few options here. I don't think the Shackling Potion makes a whole lot of sense anymore. I think it's time we start chunking down the guy who's going to upgrade. Gonna take quite a little damage here, but kind of hard to avoid sometimes. Flame Barrier makes a lot of sense. Dominate, you know, I don't hate it. Just probably better cards. We're probably gonna go with the Bloodletting though, because probably makes a lot of sense. We're looking at 1 damage incoming with the Tungsten Rod. I think I might want to spread out my damage here. I mean, Dominate does actually kill off the exoskeleton here, so I think I might do that. And then we can chunk maybe this guy. I don't know who's gonna multi-hit. Strength first. They might be on the same sequencing. No, they're actually not. And now we got some interesting things to think about. I mean, obviously Body Slam is quite good. With Battle Trance is always going to be a play. And yeah, I think we just take you out. We do have 27 damage, right? Or we have 2 attacks here and 1 attack here. There's really a lot of flexibility in how we handle this, but yeah, I wish I had more attack cards, but it's simply not the case. Perfected Strike, I mean, this is really expensive, but it works. Bloodletting, obviously not doing anything effective there. Here we might go for a really greedy just blocking action. It's gonna kill. Fortunately, we can't feed there, and Pommel Strike is what I was looking for. I mean, it's a little snap pick, but I do like the draw. I do like the implications of it. I think now I'm feeling pretty ready for this elite. I don't know that upgrading is super useful. I mean, obviously 1-2 punch, you know, sky's the limit on what that's able to do. Dominate is a decent target as well. But I think I can take the elite, and then we have the shop. Maybe we find something useful there. This is a great candidate for Shackling Potion. I mean, it blocks essentially 16 damage. We're definitely gonna Battle Trance here. Maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense with the Taunt Dominate setup, but I think Shrug It Off here. You know, even though it's effectively not blocking. Definitely a pretty good pickup. And yeah, I guess now we get to see what 1-2 punch does. I mean, this gets played regardless, right? Does it hit 4 times? It does not. And yeah, I mean, we're just taking 20 here. You know, we didn't have any block. We could throw the Shackling Potion for 7. I guess we just take the 19. I mean, it's not super pretty, but you know, I'm pretty sure that we do get a kill next turn. Probably irrespective of what we end up doing. Didn't get the feed, unfortunately. Planosphere I like. And now we have another Perfected Strike, which unfortunately is an auto pickup. And we're delving back into the greedy plays. Ooh, I do like a little clamp action. My eyes were immediately drawn to that. Gambit is, you know, interesting. I've never actually played with Gambit. I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense, to be honest. But yeah, I'm kind of just... I think there's no world where I don't take the clamp here. Unrelenting, you know. You cheat out some Perfected Strikes, some bashes. It's not a terrible card. It just... I don't really know what it does for me. You know, a 0 mana, a 0 energy, 14 damage card. Fine, like it's fine. But I guess with 1-2 punch, you know, it has some other implications there. It's just you know, ultimately it's deck dilution, and you need to always consider that. A lot of considerations to be made there, but yeah, clamp is, I mean, it's getting picked up regardless. I do really like Strawberry. I do really like Dark Shackles. You know, I think I might actually take the Dark Shackles here. Call me a little too defensive, but I just have good experience with that card, and with all the draw that I have, some cheaper cards definitely up my alley. And I think I'm gonna pick up the Unrelenting as well. I think you can go wrong with it. Do we need any potions here? I mean, I do like Heart of Iron. It could save us quite a lot of health. I think I will. I think this makes me a little less scared of Decimillipede, for instance. Definitely helped quite a lot. Lucky Fish, interesting. It's a little late for that. And I think at this juncture, the health is kind of important. The gold is not, because we do have Lucky Fish. I will take the Relic. Red Mask is great. I mean, sign me up for playing against Dorito. Sign me up for the Decimillipede. I think we upgrade here. We might not be able to go up against both elites, but certainly we have to take one on. And the Dorito it is. Wow, this is fascinating. I mean, with Flame Barrier, the Tainted actually just does more damage. We'll get him up to 15 damage and then 18 damage. The Strike actually just does more damage, so we'll strike him. It's a little unfortunate he's weakened, but we'll take it as it is. We're probably going to want to save the, well... What I'm trying to say is he's gonna multi soon. We probably want to save Shackling Potion for that. Or maybe we get Dark Shackles. But I think now we do have an opening to play the Dominate, gain 3 strength. It's not a whole lot, but it's not terrible. And wow, look at this. I mean, Body Slam, Bash, Unrelenting, Bash, Body Slam. It's a lot of damage, and we don't even need a Shackling Potion because we do have the Captain's Wheel. This is just pretty magical right here. We're setting up for a perfected strike. Fortunately, it's not quite good enough. The 1-2 punch makes me take 3 extra damage, but it deals an extra 9. Block is obviously being played regardless. And I don't think I need to take an extra bit of damage. The Perfected Strike will certainly clean up here. Question is 49. 49 plus 19 does actually let us feed off of the Dorito. Little pickup there. Speed Potion I don't think has much value, and the Lasting Candy is, you know, it's interesting, but yeah. Alright, Drum of Battle. Drawing cards is not so bad, but we don't have any exhausting targets. I don't think this is gonna come in handy. And yeah, we have another decision to make. I mean, I think with Shackling Potion and Heart of Iron, we can really take on the Decimillipede. The Dorito really didn't hurt that much. I am, unfortunately, a little scared of this guy. We might have to Shackling Potion a little early, but let's try and Let's try and cheat something out here. Alright, so with Perfected Strike, maybe I can get the repeated Perfected Strike. This is 45. We can hit him twice for 90. And then I think this is just lethal. Body Slam, Strike. I kind of lucked out on that one. Drumel Battle Plus. Again, we don't have any exhaust targets and not very useful. Anger, I don't think is very useful. I mean, we do gain a lot of strength against Sword Boomerang. We do have some strength scaling. It's just, none of these cards are really like stand out to me. And bring on the Decimillipede. I'm pretty confident in what we can do here. Dark Shackles might just be an instant play. I mean, Shackling Potion's quite strong as well. I think I might hold on to the Shackling Potion. We'll throw out Dark Shackles for now. Probably going to block the most damage it ever will. And there really is some consideration into how we distribute the damage. I'm pretty sure Decimillipede 3 is going to weaken us next turn. And I don't like being weak. So let's throw out Shackling Potion. And let's target the back line. We're going to take 0. A good old Tungsten Rod. We are a little weak. I would love to see a Flame Barrier. Fortunately, that's not available to us. And I did get the order wrong. Apparently, this guy, the one that's going to make us weaker. But again, we don't really have that much damage anyway. I think here, there's really not much choice. The Plate of Iron is going to be really useful. I would rather, honestly, take the block here. Do have a little bit of damage mitigation with the Tungsten Rod coming in at the right time. I didn't really like to see both Perfected Strikes at the same time, but it sort of does work out. Unfortunately, you know, because we are weak, not super effective. Although it does kill. Thinking about what my follow-up turns are going to be here. We do have the wheel. I'm not sure that there's really any reason to Battle Trance here. I kind of want to save maybe my Flame Barrier for next turn. I think the play, we're going to Perfected Strike, and then we're going to choose something to hammer down here. And, yeah, I mean, just why not you? It's gonna make me weak. Maybe we can take down Decimillipede in one turn. I'm honestly not positive about it. Though. I'm gonna draw. Flame Barrier gets us there on defense. Flame Barrier gets me to 28. I think Shrug It Off to 20 armor, Body Slam twice. I think we just Bloodletting. Don't get too complicated here. I mean, it definitely does it. Take 2 damage any day of the week. Book of the Five Rings, love to see it. Colossus, I mean, it's almost an instantaneous pickup. Sea Inferno, I mean, this is useless, so we're not gonna take that. And I'm pretty sure I do need to heal here. Not sure there's any alternatives. Alright. Dark Shackles in the first turn. Amazing. I don't think Shrug It Off is really worth using. I do think the nature of this fight necessitates that I take a Power Pot. Crimson Mantle is exactly what I was looking for. First of all, we don't take the damage, and we do get the block. So, kind of just a perfect card here. I'll take the Disintegration. And, interesting. I think we just full block here. We're taking 24. This is the full block. We can hold on to the feed. But now we're gonna look into drawing. I think I'm gonna play the Pommel Strike first. With the Bloodletting, we do have the chance of a very powerful turn. Again, Battle Trance here. You know, I kind of like the Flame Barrier. It's just it's 18 damage. You know, it's probably worth playing with Bloodletting. Let's get the bash down. And I think Bloodletting, I mean, we could either deal... This is 18 damage with block. And I guess it gets us 6 extra protection. Definitely worth it. We do remember we do have to clamp, so there might have been a case to use the sturdy clamp there actually. And all right, we're looking at a reflected perfected strike and body slam. I mean, this is pretty nice. Dealing a lot of damage here. Feels like the Crimson Mantle might not actually have been necessary, but I definitely enjoy it, what it's worth. I obviously don't need a block here. I'm not going to play Colossus, and I'm going to gain quite a bit of strength. There's an argument for Sloth. I don't see it. I think I have plenty of block. 1-2 punch. I mean, sadly, it's not upgraded, but this is going to do a whole lot of damage. 58, 58, and there you go, Dunzo. Didn't take either the damage or the limit of 3 cards. It didn't really matter, and back into another strength pot. Crimson Mantle, love to see. I mean, I played this for free. I'll play it for 1 mana. Stoke I like, Cascade I like, but you know, I think Crimson Mantle we have a really hard time passing up. And, alright, Darv. This is not Darv. What am I talking? This is Vaku. Interesting. A wish. A wish. I think my deck is a little too thin to add 2 Kirsches. Choices Paradox I've never actually played. And then Fiddle feels really weak. I mean, you know, Fiddle essentially makes Battle Trance and Pommel Strike moot. But then we get them essentially every turn. So I'm not chaining too many cards together. But I am getting an additional draw. You know, I've never really played with Choices Paradox. I kind of want to try it, but in my head I sort of know that Fiddle is just really strong. But I think our chance of drawing cards is just pretty good. Yeah, I think Choices Paradox, it could be really strong. I get the feeling with 5 cards, you know, there's really a lot of things you could be working with. We do have 286 gold, and remember, we have Lucky Fish. We've been taking a decent amount of cards. We have the Amethyst Aubergine, where we're farming a lot. So this shop really calls my name. Otherwise, we have some early shops. You can pick up a relic pretty easily. I see a triple rest here. It's really rare in Act 3. Obviously, going to this shop necessitates an elite without a rest. I don't think I necessarily need the rests, but I do want to visit a shop. This is a double random encounter. I think this path in the middle here kind of just makes the most sense. All right, Choices Paradox. Let's see what it does. I mean, already like all of these cards are pretty insane. I don't know if Conflagration makes a whole lot of sense, but you know, certainly 1-2 punch could already just blow up with Perfected Strike. We're thinking about dealing 90 damage, which definitely takes out the turret operator. I think that's what we go with. And I mean, I guess, you know, 2 damage is better than 3 damage. So we'll block the Living Shield. And from here, maybe we can greed out a feed. I'm not gonna force it because this guy can do quite a lot of damage. But you know, with Colossus here, and we're already blocking a little bit. We have the option to exit at any point. And well, let's see. I'm gonna shrug it off. Yeah, so now we're in the territory of taking damage for the feed. We're gonna take 3 damage this turn. I don't know how many more turns we have, but yeah, I think kill them off and move on. Again, Inferno. I like the concept. It just, and we have Tungsten Rod, so unfortunately, Crimson Mantle is only gonna trigger off of Bloodletting. Forgotten Ritual not useful. Feel No Pain. Again, we have no targets. And Flame, I mean, this is basically a Dominate, but worse. But yeah, I don't think I need any of these cards again. The next fight, the Scrolls. What do we have? A little Whirlwind action. You know, I'm not sure that Whirlwind is good enough here. But I am tempted by this Primal Force. We just don't have any attacks right now, but we could certainly draw into some. I think Primal Force makes a whole lot of sense. And Flame Barrier, 18 block. We'll get some extra block here. Let's just see what Primal Force gives us. We get 3 rocks on the board. Oh, no, we don't want to shuffle the rocks in. All right, looking at here. Looking at 1 attack. Not great. Thinking we do need to... Now, we could 1-2 punch the rock. It unfortunately doesn't take out... Fortunately, does not take out the scroll, so I think we're obligated to take damage here. Or we could Strength Potion, and that actually does work. This is a very strange turn, but sometimes things need to be done just to avoid taking too much damage. We're gonna rock this guy. We're gonna Bloodletting. We're gonna Dominate and Colossus, and that gets all the block in. And you know, can't complain too much about that. Don't need a... We can escape here, but the question is whether we want to try and get this feed off. I think we can try. Let's block. Sturdy Clamp is going to help us quite a lot. Are we taking damage here? I don't think so. I actually don't know how this interaction works. Obviously, we could escape here. Let's see if we lose max HP. We did not because of the Tungsten Rod. But we are kind of in territory now where we're going to start taking damage. You know, this vulnerable... We're now at the point where it's unavoidable to take damage. I think I'm just going to leave combat. Again, you know, we can greed the feed, but I don't think that was worth it. I have a chance at Headbutt now, and Headbutt is very versatile. You know, we know sort of the attack patterns of these guys. We can get Dark Shackles, we can get Perfected Strike. I think it's about time, and we do have enough draw where we can sort of pair those together. Now, this is fascinating. There are a lot of upgrade cards I would like. You know, all the defends are pretty solid. Dominate is good. Body Slam is good. 1-2 Punch is good. Even Crimson Mantle I don't hate. But I think I might be able to do 300. Maybe I'm not that good. Let's just go for the upgrades. We do have quite a few options here. This is really fascinating. You know, 1-2 Punch with Retain. Pretty good. Fire gives us, you know, it's might not be as good as I think it is. We'll retain the 1-2 punch. Let's get some motion. Dominate definitely gets played. Bloodletting I don't really mind because we are eventually going to leave this combat, and now we're looking at some options here. Not sure that Shrug It Off makes a whole lot of sense here. We're gonna have to hope we get something big with this 1-2 punch. Battle Trance is a definite play, and well, we're kind of just out of luck here. Double 1-2 punch. I mean, this is great. I guess that makes 1-2 punch itself free. But I don't, even if we had more. Okay, we definitely weren't doing 300 damage. I'm not sure there was a way of doing more. So unfortunate there. But, you know, the potion could be useful. Not necessarily. Looking at this shop, we got quite a few things to think about. I mean, Seeker Strike, first of all, is just a lot of damage. It's 3 more to the Perfected Strike. Good draw card. Stone Plating I generally like, but without the upgrade, I'm not super sure how useful it is. And then, you know, Membership card, I'm pretty sure is a non-negotiable. I'm thinking Membership card, Happy Flower, Seeker Strike is doable. And we do actually have the option of Stone Armor. Without the upgrade, I'm not super sold on it. I think I might take the Beetlejuice, though. This is just such a strong potion. And against some of these elites, it might be pretty useful. I didn't realize that Tungsten Rod actually works on the bridge here, but a very cool interaction. Now let's think about what we're doing here. Seeker Strike, more damage. This is fine. There's quite a few things I'm thinking about. I mean, Unrelenting is a +6, which is obviously quite good. This is a 1 mana, which is quite good. 1-2 punch, I think is the first play. With Pale's Flesh, I'm not sure that the extra energy is really necessary. Gorge it, I love, but unfortunately we don't have Stone Armor. Again, another sort of upgrade opportunity here. I'm still thinking along the same lines. I mean, Unrelenting is good, Battle Trance is good. Let's go with the Unrelenting. Maybe the Vulnerable. I mean, extending Vulnerable is pretty useful with Colossus. I will go with that, actually. Do like the concept. Let's see here. Cruelty is interesting. Fire, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to end up using that. Havoc. Cruelty is quite strong. Body Slam is definitely good. I think Body Slam makes a lot of sense. We're going to be able to use it with the Captain's Wheel at a minimum. And let's think about how we play this out. I do like the idea of Battle Trance. We get a free Perfected Strike Unrelenting combo, and I think we play Crimson Mantle. It's quite a lot of damage incoming. We're going to take 17 minus 2 minus 4, so 11 damage, unless I block, but a simple block is not good enough, and I think Beetlejuice is better served for later. So let's do Crimson Mantle. Let's do Unrelenting, and I'm gonna target the upgrades, because I think I don't mind actually exhausting quite a few of my cards here. With this Hex, I guess the Body Slam is going to disappear. Dark Shackles gets played on this all the time. And we could think about trying to use Body Slam without a good way of bursting the shield. I'm not sure the Magi Knight makes a lot of sense right away. I do think Pommel Strike gets played pretty often here. Is there a reason to recycle maybe Perfected Strike, maybe Unrelenting in my deck? I'm not sure. I don't think we need a Headbutt here. We could Headbutt later. I think I'm going to do this first of all. And Flame Strike, I think, is just kind of just the catch-all here. We're taking 37, so I will still shackle this guy, and I think I'm totally fine with losing all of those cards. It might actually just be a benefit. But this upgrade is going to hurt. I mean, that's going to make my super Perfected Strike not do nearly as much damage. This Body Slam is... I love it. I mean, this... go to town, man. Just take him out. Obviously, Bloodletting. I could just play it to keep it around, but I think with Tail's Flesh, I don't really care that much. And now we're looking at quite a lot of damage. I might have to... If I bash Perfected Strike, we're looking at 10 plus 90 damage. It does get rid of this guy. We're gonna have to lose the Colossus, but it's better than just tanking the damage from the big guy. And again, we've got some pretty awkward turns here. 1-2 punch is obviously not very useful if you don't have energy to play things. But I think with Perfected Strike here, we escape just fine. Flex Potion is interesting. I'm not sure it's super useful, but definitely interesting. And we have 2 more upgrades left. I do like the Perfected Strike. I mean, obviously there are other things that need to upgrade. Body Slam could be upgraded. Battle Trance could be upgraded, but you know, I see a Perfected Strike. These guys are doing 33 damage apiece. It's kind of hard to pass up. We did get a heal there. I mean, there is some argument to be made to not heal until after this elite, but I see a Perfected Strike. I'd take it. I'm not a very complicated person. All right. Some interesting propositions here. Juggernaut is gonna do quite a lot of damage, believe it or not, just based off of the fact that you know, we have the plating, we have Clumsy. I don't actually know if Clumsy triggers Juggernaut, but I do like the prospects of this. I'm not sure I'm gonna play it. This might be a pretty long fight. But turn 1, I mean, I'm already like not super happy with what's going on here. I think not playing a triple Perfected Strike is a mistake. But there's such a good argument for Seeker Strike. I mean, applying Vulnerable, you know, either with Battle Trance or Taunt. We could get the Colossus in. I mean, it's not a guaranteed pick. I think I'm gonna 1-2 punch. It just it feels right. 20 damage or 18 damage. It's not the end of the world. And I would love to have better cards here. Don't know that we really have anything. I mean, here I'm gonna play Juggernaut instead of Unrelenting. I mean, the energy savings is fine, but I just feel a little more confident about this here. There's a very good argument for playing Beetlejuice on previous turn here, but again, it is what it is. Flame Barrier definitely gets played here. Dominate gets played. Shrug It Off gets played. Body Slam gets played. Let's play Body Slam first. Flame Barrier, Dominate, Body Slam. That's a lot of damage. And I think I can walk away now. There's no feed in the draw pile. I'm not gonna mess around too much with this guy. Break Dummy I like to see. And looking at a little bit of an awkward pickup here. I mean, Burning Pact is great, right? I think we can definitely get rid of some block cards. We can definitely get rid of some strikes. I think we take Burning Pact. Definitely has some utility here. We need a debt. I mean, money at this point is irrelevant, but so are the things to be found. You know, I'm honestly like not super excited about anything here. We'll do a big div. We didn't really find anything. Let's do a small div. That I think is an uncommon, right? Why not? Just get the uncommon. And we got a potion. Very interesting stuff. Alright, so Rupture, again, not super useful in this Tungsten Rod deck. We would have had a great sort of lineup for all the healing effects. Expect to Fight is interesting. I mean, we have a few times where we're going to have larger hands. We can maybe retain a card. It's not terrible. And then Pillage is a draw action. We do have quite a few skills, though. Not sure it makes a whole lot of sense. I will take expect to fight. I expect to have some sort of value out of it. And now here, you know, between resting, I think resting buys me an extra turn. I'm not really sure what smithing does. It's gonna be pretty hard. I think we can get through the test subject. I'm gonna be pretty dubious about my ability to clear Aeon Glass, but here goes nothing. Ooh, demon form. I mean, this is immediately a really strong pickup here. You know, I think that's kind of the only play I have in mind, and I might just play it right away. You know, flame barrier is nice. Taunt is nice. Like, all of this stuff, it's quite nice, but I think I just take the damage because, you know, he's gonna keep hitting me, and I'm not sure that like blocking and drawing is really gonna help. So we'll take some damage. We'll keep him a little low. Bash Colossus, really strong. I'll hit him with the... well, Feed has a pretty good chance of burning out to do something, but again, I'm not super confident in my ability to time that. Dominate is really good. The Perfected Strike does get us out. Let's shrug it off first. This is kind of moot. And, you know, Dominate... it's good. It's good. We don't have a great way of blocking what's next. I think I'm gonna blow my load on the Perfected Strike here. We can dominate as well. I don't mind. You know, dominate. Oh, it's 4 strength, right? And we're gonna get 2 strength at the end of this turn. I think it's actually fine. You know, we're obviously foregoing some future vulnerability potential, but we're getting a bunch of strength now. And generally, I mean, I think strength is something that's going to be hard to come by. Now, this is going to be a really dangerous turn. Burning Peck gets played 100% of the time here. Obviously, the strike is doing a lot of damage. Dark Shackles is right on time. That's amazing. I do play the defend just for the sturdy clamp. And, all right. Questions. Do we... so there's, we could 1-2 punch the Pommel Strike, or we could 1-2 punch the Perfected Strike should we draw into it. I'm thinking we greed. And we drew the exact worst 2 cards, which is fine, but it's unfortunate. Now, when it comes to this next turn, I'm incoming on 44. You can block up to 5. The Speed Potion does an extra 5. It's really not that useful. Is it time to Beetlejuice? I'm really not sure. I think Beetlejuice might be a little more useful against the Aeon Glass. This is gonna hurt, but that's why we heal. And now we're looking to escape. So the taunt is good, but a taunt is not even useful. The taunt would help with the sturdy clamp a little bit, but the double Perfected Strike gets us there. We're gonna do that. Crimson Mantle again, help me out a little bit. Colossus, love to see it. Battle Trance. I mean, I think our cards are better left in the draw pile than drawn right now. I'll strike him, just do 1, but I don't need to draw into my good cards right now. 45 damage incoming. I mean, we do have quite a lot of block with Flame Barrier. Shrug it off, and into the Body Slam is obviously really strong as well. Unfortunately, I can't play everything without Bloodletting, but I think Bloodletting is definitely worth the, you know, essentially 10 extra damage. And like I said, it doesn't help me gain any health, but I do like the implication there. And that's a lot of damage. So I like that. 6 damage here. He is going to be invulnerable here, but setting up a perfected strike draw is obviously very strong. So let's do that. Unrelenting for, well, we'll strike, unrelenting, and then, oh, we misordered that, but I think it's okay. We'll draw into a perfected strike. It's not going to be full damage, but with 20 strength, I mean, it's going to be a lot for sure. We have 2 perfected strikes. So Pale's Flesh, very strong in this combat. And now we got Aeon Glass on deck. We do have quite a few potions for Aeon Glass. Again, looking at this here, I love the Crimson Mantle last time. We do have another Crimson Mantle incoming. You know, I think this is going to be a double Crimson Mantle angle. We even have Bloodletting, so we can kind of just play out our hand on the first turn. Problem with Beetlejuice, we are going to have to think about how we want to trigger that, but I'm pretty sure all these other cards is really not doing anything. I mean, obviously Impervious helps us for a turn, but Crimson Mantle is going to help extend this fight quite a lot. So when I'm looking at this here, we unfortunately don't have any blocks, so Body Slam doesn't get played. But Crimson Mantle, Unrelenting, Perfected Strike is 4 mana. Definitely good enough. And yeah, like I said, I mean, Body Slam is not doing anything. You're gonna take a lot of damage, and Beetlejuice is not gonna help. But now we get 16 per turn. It's something. It's something for sure, but it's not everything. I think I'm gonna have to save the Perfected Strike for when there is a vulnerable application in the works. Pommel Strike, I think, you know, it doesn't always get played. We could just sort of power it out and play the block. But again, I mean, I think there's a lot of good things we can draw into here. I think we risk it for the biscuit. Flame Barrier, obviously very strong. It's not going to help get rid of the artifact, but I do just like surviving a little longer. And did I take damage there? Oh, Crimson Mantle does stack. So we're taking 1 damage per turn, which is fine. This is an obvious Battle Trance turn. Unfortunately, this Burning Pact is not going to be very useful, but I will use it to just exhaust strike. Dominate, I think, just gets played. We're gonna have to dial in here. This is really not a great turn for me. But we are getting quite a lot of block here. Taunt is a great pickup. Thinking about what we're gonna draw into here. Would love to, you know, get 1-2 punch paired up with Perfected Strike. Let me look up really quickly what his next attack is, because if it is the multi, then it would make a lot of sense to put Dark Shackles on top. The next turn after the block is the multi, so I'm thinking about putting Dark Shackles on top here. It's pretty much a free turn. We're gonna apply the block. We're gonna Colossus. And we could even double headbutt, which, you know, sounds pretty good to me. Let's do it. We're gonna headbutt once for Dark Shackles. Where was that? Dark Shackle. Is Dark Shackles in my draw pile? It is in my draw pile. You know, that might have been a mistake. In that case, let's go Bloodletting, Pommel Strike. Or maybe even Battle Trance. And I don't want to carry this feat around, so I'm okay to just tank that. Of course, we didn't draw Shackles, but I think, you know, we have a guaranteed draw on it, so I'm not super worried there. Expectify is doing absolutely nothing, but that's fine. And then this is going to be able to get us our Dark Shackles, which you know, is not exactly necessary, but it feels pretty necessary. Let's shuffle. Let's see what we get. Another Seeker Strike. It's interesting. I will take it actually. With Bloodletting, we got a lot of interesting things we can pull off. Taunt is quite good. Now we actually don't need the Dark Shackles. We do straight up just have enough damage. Tank that. So I think I will play. I guess we can play Expect to Fight. Maybe that was actually not correct because you do summon another Wither there, and we're taking 12 plus 32. So Dark Shackles actually does do something here. You know, obviously we were going to have a decent amount of block, but this gives me the clamp, which again, look, it's not very useful, but it's worth considering nonetheless. All right, again, it's not attacking us. It's an unfortunate draw turn for me. I guess I didn't need to block as well. A lot of mistakes going on here. Finally, we get to wither something down here. And I think this is going to be the speed pot turn. Sort of makes a lot of sense here. We could also minimize him, but you know, the speed pot is going to do quite a lot. Double block got us up to 46. Maybe we just throw both. I think he's pretty close to dead. I mean, we have the big perfected strike coming in. Let's throw it all. Let's throw it all. Speed pot again. Not sure if it actually does much. We could go up to 36 and we're taking 37. I think it doesn't. It does enough. Let's strike into oh, I can't Unrelenting actually. That was a mistake. I could have done an extra strike, or I could have done an extra Unrelenting. I think it's a little moot. And now we're staring at 27 plus 14 damage. I mean, I can't believe the fact that he's been minimized, and we're still taking that much. We're at 37 health, and I think we're dead. Let's try this fight again and see if we can win. Obviously, this is kind of a fake win, but trying to think about anything other than the draw. Let's see if we can pull this off. So I think Crimson Mantle was definitely the correct play. I think, you know, we definitely don't try to do too much too soon. Unrelenting, maybe, you know, maybe we do need to slow down the Withering. I mean, obviously, Perfected Strike is quite good, but Bloodletting, an extra 2 cards for not much value. So let's try avoiding triggering him too much. And from here, I mean, we're thinking about Pommel Strike. We did want to, you know, maintain our block quite a lot. With 20 armor on him, it's going to be quite hard to pierce through things. And now we're looking at starting to do our blocks. So we have a wither target here, which is nice. We can dominate. And again, you know, I'm not sure that striking is going to do much. Let's try and avoid the withers best as we can. 36 damage incoming. We have quite a lot of flexibility here. I did make a mistake here where I was planning to get Dark Shackles back, but it was already in my draw pile. Taunt always happens, but I think there's like a good argument to be had about maybe just putting in Battle Trance. I'm not sure 1-2 Punch really does much here. I do think the Bloodletting Battle Trance is like a pretty sound maneuver though. And the Withers are already upgraded. So let's do that. Let's 1-2 Punch, Headbutt into Battle Trance and Bloodletting. And then we can definitely block a little. The Colossus blocks this. And again, I'm not going to play the feed just because it feels like meaningless damage. And here now, you know, we're looking into 33 blocks. So maybe the Battle Trance didn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's Battle Trance here. The Dark Shackles is going to be pretty solid. taking 14, and again, I mean, there's no point in you could do 36 plus 12. Like, it's a little bit of damage, but it just accelerates that wither so quickly, and I think ultimately the wither is really painful to me. Now look at this. So now we're getting rid of withers. We're like, can taunt a little bit, and I think this is worth it. I mean, the block is down, the withers are up. We do need to start doing a little bit of damage. I don't know if the second strike it really matters though. And now again, so body slam, obviously very strong. We definitely need to think about getting our defend up. Colossus, quite good. 1-2 punch, also very good. I'm thinking 1-2 punch, bash, body slam, that's 4, and then Colossus, extra block. We'll take 18 to Wither and 20 to Aeon Glass. Quite a lot of damage. Now we're in a similar position where we're getting multi-attack. Expect a fight, or sorry, Pommel Strike. I mean, it doesn't do damage to the armor. I think this might just be a straightforward sort of blocking turn. There's a real strong argument there to having speed potted, but we'll see. We'll see if that was necessary. Now this is our turn. This is our turn right here. Do we have a 1-2 punch in the deck? We do not. But you know, I think the Flex Potion does not get much stronger than this. We're gonna do it. Do Unrelenting, Perfected Strike, Perfected Strike, and he's down to 100. Maybe we needed to use the Beetlejuice a little earlier. Now we're looking at a solid amount of damage. I guess we can just throw the Beetlejuice. He's going to be dead in the next 3 turns regardless. So we do actually have a block here. And I think with 5 mana, the 1-2 punch is good enough. There's really no doubt about it. So let's put the 1-2 punch in the draw. We'll shrug it off, we'll 1-2 punch, and we'll Perfected Strike. And that is GG. We beat the Aeon Glass with a little bit of save scumming, but hopefully that teaches you something about not playing too many cards too quickly against the Aeon Glass and just sort of prioritizing big damage rather than just any damage at all. And now we can kind of look at the stats, and we'll evaluate the value of all of our relics here. So 7 elites killed. You know, obviously we had a very good time there, but the bosses was a little bit of a struggle. And in terms of our relics, we'll go to the main menu, evaluate the run here. So against Aeon Glass, we took 42 damage. Against the test subject, we took 32 for a total of 76, which is my entire HP. But we did heal for a little bit with Burning Blood, and so this heal was definitely necessary. I think technically with a speed pot or an earlier Beetlejuice, we probably could have survived with a little more health in either of these 2 fights. But yeah, looking back, I mean, wow, we really nuked this Knowledge Demon. The power pot was, I guess, quite good there. Waterfall damage was still pretty high. And generally, I was very happy with 1-2 punch. Silken Tress, I think we got a little lucky. I mean, you know, replay on Perfected Strike is quite strong, but we built around it. Fresnel Lens, I was very happy with. I mean, we got a good amount of block cards. Flame Barrier, Shrug It Off, especially in the underdocs. You know, it's going to be very useful. Whetstone was kind of just whatever. Tungsten Rod, you know, might have actually had more dis-synergy this run. But, you know, we saw a few ruptures that we passed on. But the Crimson Mantle, I guess, was pretty solid later on. Captain's Wheel, very strong. I didn't really play too much around the body slams, but it definitely worked at least once. So happy with that pickup. But again, I still think Anchor would have helped quite a lot. Planosphere, I healed a decent amount. I didn't go to that many of question marks. I think after getting Planosphere, I only went to 4 question marks, simply because we were fighting so many elites and resting so much. But a decent relic, 15 HP in this final act is quite strong. Lucky Fish, I mean, we spent so much money this run. I think if I look at the last one, we spent 372, we spent 444. Lucky Fish definitely helped me spend a little bit of money. And we finished with a lot of money, but we certainly spent a lot of money at the shop here, where we bought membership card, Happy Flower, Beetlejuice, all, really essential cards. Red Mask, we got this from a treasure chest. I think this was definitely pretty helpful. I mean, again, we didn't have Anchor. We got the Captain's Wheel, but this helped a little bit on Test Subject and similar foes. Last thing, Candy. I'm not sure. We skipped in Flame, so we didn't actually get Crimson Mantle from that, which is fine. Book of 5 Rings. I think I healed once. It was right here, maybe. Healed for 16 HP. When I took the Perfected Strike. I mean, you wouldn't want to skip that Perfected Strike. Choices Paradox I was really happy with. I had an intuition that it was going to be really strong. I mean, I think here getting the Demon form was, pretty much free. And then against the Aeon Glass, Crimson Mantle is still pretty strong. I mean, we got a lot of block and it pairs really well with Sturdy Clamp. Membership card, I mean, with how much gold we have, this is kind of a no-brainer. Happy Flower, also really kind of a no-brainer. Gorget, happy to see that. We did get offered Stone Armor. Yeah, we skipped Stone Armor here. We didn't actually take anything out of the shop in terms of cards. We took Seeker Strike, which ended up not being played, I'm pretty sure. Potion Belt was somewhat useful. It gave us an extra potion slot for the Speed Potion, but we didn't end up using the Speed Potion. And then Strike Dummy, I mean, I think this was an underrated amount of damage. Certainly played quite a few strikes in those last 2 fights there. Overall, pretty happy. I mean, again, I think this was, this was a Save Scum victory. This was kind of a Perfected Strike glam carry. Our strategy was very well established from the very beginning. But generally, I was pretty happy with the amount of block that I had, and I was able to send that into a really aggressive elite pathing. Picked up quite a few awesome relics in the middle game here. And I think Burning Pact was also a really underrated sort of card. Headbutt. Again, I'm really dubious about Headbutt a lot of times, but I think this helped us draw a lot of cards. Dark Shackles, I think we only played once, but it was very strong. No, we might have played that more than once. Yeah, generally, I mean, Feed. Maybe we could have skipped on Feed. I think it ended up working a few times. Yeah, it looks like we got 2 feeds off. Not as strong as I thought, honestly. There's definitely been games where Feed is much more useful, but maybe the lesson is that late in Act 1, it's not quite as good as you think it is. Battle Trance, obviously very good pickup. Funnel Strike, Perfected Strike. We got a lot of upgrades, which I'm happy with. Unrelenting was kind of a nothing burger play. I know I was kind of dubious about this, but I think I could have gone either way on it. But it's definitely worth considering just skipping. Clumsy, what did we get out of this award? We got the Red Mask. I think that's something I'm happy to take all the time. Colossus, obviously very strong. Yeah. Generally, this run, it was kind of a Perfected Strike carry, and from there we took an early advantage and we kind of just steamrolled our way to the end. But main lesson, when you're fighting Aeon Glass, don't play too many cards. And alright, thank you for watching. See you next time when we play another character.